Hi, Darude. My name is Eleonora, and it's a pleasure for me to interview you for a youBEAT 6 Shots format. Are you ready for some questions?
Yep, feel free, shoot.
So let's go. You have opened a new chapter in your career with the release of Outlaws, your first single in over 3 years. Where did the idea for this song come from, and the collaboration with Oscar and Housebody come about?
Yeah, Jaakko, i.e. Housebody, and we were sitting in his studio in California where he lives, and we were kind of thinking that what would we like to hear if we went out? We're busy with work, we're busy being parents and husbands, and we don't get to go out too much. Although I play out quite a lot, but I don't get to go and party too much myself. And so the same goes for him. And so that's where the idea came from. We've been going out to parties and raves for quite a long time, and we were kind of just thinking back a little bit. And there was this idea of kind of getting the old gang back together again and going out and partying, and to actually like to go raving. And so we started working with these, I would say, like old school drum sounds, 909 drum machine sounds, and then some like rave stabs and house music stab sounds and whatnot, and putting that together. And it was just kind of us initially not even maybe thinking if we are going to finish the track. We just started working on it and had some fun and good laughs. And we were in Jaakko's studio, so he was like operating the computer. I had my laptop on me. I would send him sounds like, hey, how is this drum loop and how is this sound? And then I had a chord progression that you hear in a breakdown. We put that there, and he played guitar on top of that. And we had the instrumental version quite similar that you hear now, ready after that session. But then it sat on my hard drive for, I think, like a year and a half or something at least. And then I found Oscar, who was singing on national TV in Finland, singing a song live, and I heard him. I fell in love with his vocals, and I got in contact with him. It turns out he lives only like half an hour away from me. And we got in touch. We talked about music, and he liked this track and wanted to sing on it. And then we told him the story that we, founded or started working on the track from. And I think he really nailed the lyrics. He kind of got the story and put it in words as well, and his vocals. So I am extremely happy with the recording, because it kind of went all organic and natural. And then on top of all of this, I've actually made music videos with Jaakko, Housebody. I think he's made 8 music videos now for me. And so it was natural that we did this music video together as well with his company and his production crew. And I think it turned out pretty good as well. It's really funny. And we had our own little rave there.
Yeah, it's good to know that. It's amazing. And your return to the electronic music scene was in style, because it was also marked by the birth of a new music label, Vibing Out. Can you please tell me more about this project?
Well, Vibing Out is a label for me to release my own music, but we also are going to be looking for other people's music, mainly all in the dance music realm, but I mean, that's quite broad a bracket. It could be house, it could be trance, it could be various subgenres of those, and even wider, as long as there's a version of any particular track that I can make or I can find a remix for, so that I can play it out in my sets as well. Because I mean, I'm a DJ and I want to release something that I would play myself. And the Vibing Out name comes from my Twitch stream, which I've streamed on Twitch since 2015. But when the pandemic happened, I started doing regular streams. And actually, in fact, now over 3 years, I've played a DJ set on Fridays, 6 p.m. Finnish time. And only the weekends that I've been on the road, I haven't done that. And then I also did some studio streams and like these chat streams where I would talk to my DJ friends or producer friends and whatnot. But the Friday set is called Vibing Out, and it's such an amazing community that we've been sort of able to create and gather. And while I like to take credit for it being my channel and I'm the DJ there, but it's very much more, it's a very nice place for people to come back to and have a couple of hours of, you know, time off of their normal day with good music, but also the community is really, really friendly, very open-minded, very accepting, and I'm very proud of the community that we've created. And so kind of to honor the community, I decided to call my label Vibing Out as well.
Yeah, it's for the community first, and then for the artists and music. That's so cool. And now let's talk about Sandstorm, a global trance anthem with over 600 million worldwide streams. It's one of the most iconic dance tracks of all time, and in the last few years has been heavily revamped by the meme. How has this phenomenon helped your late career after the first huge success in 2000 when it was released?
That's a good question. It's a very, very valid question, because it's definitely brought my name up several times in different kind of things. There's been like a potato flute, or there's been somebody cleaning up their shower or something, and then there's been actually really cool like symphonic orchestra versions and whatnot. And
it's amazing.
At first when the meme stuff started popping up, I didn't understand what was happening, or like people were asking the same question always, like what song, and it was just so strange to me. But when somebody explained it to me, or when I kind of realized it started sort of making sense. And while we haven't created the memes ourselves, but when we've come across a good one, we've definitely kind of supported it or posted it. And like you said, it's kind of it's in many ways helped my career and pushed my name up, because the track has gone another round and another round of push from kind of the weirdest places. But if I can bring up one of the coolest things was in April Fool's Day 2015, when well, a little before that, but YouTube called us. And they wanted to do a April Fool's Day prank, and we of course said yes. And then that day, 2015 April Fool's Day, everybody searching for whatever on YouTube, they were asked a question: did you mean DARUDE Sandstorm? And I think there was like 2 million views on that day of Sandstorm. But where we really got the sort of benefit from it was that we actually released a new music video that same day for my track Beautiful Alien, and we linked from Sandstorm to that, and I think there were like 250,000 views on the first day for that music video. So that was pretty cool. And by the way, now that I mentioned earlier Housebody, i.e. Jaakko is actually the one who made the Beautiful Alien music video as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. And did you expect that your song will be used for the map?
No, I mean all the meme stuff, and it's generated by somebody else. So we just basically find out here this one and find out that one, and then look into it like what it is about. And yeah, some are really funny and some are really cool. And I mean, I'm just kind of, I don't know, thankful for it. I don't know if it makes my career, but it definitely pushes it here and there. And like I said, this 23 years later, having the name of my track and my artist name being pushed by somebody else, sometimes globally, goes viral, and it's obviously a bonus for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a great thing. And the latest songs that are now released in the music scene speaks from themselves because we are witnessing a return of 80s or 90s sounds and even of the hits of 2000 like I'm Blue or Feed from Desire, just to name a few.
Mm-hmm.
What is your thought on this return?
Well, I am excited about hearing the older sounds, combinations of those again. I mean, I grew up in that era, mid-90s. Well, I mean, I was listening to music, well, earlier than that, but like mid-90s, kind of my dance music thinking started. Late 90s, I started making or 97 or so, my own dance music. But I grew up with the piano house stuff. I grew up with 2000s trance, and it's kind of cool that coming back. I'm sometimes a little hesitant to when I hear kind of like some radio stations, for instance, just play the remade hits from the past. So it's sometimes hard to find a new song like that would be as good or the same quality or the same playlist. And so sometimes it gets a little iffy when every track you hear in a set, for instance, is just a remake of something. But at the same time, it was an era where amazing pieces of music were made, and then now enough time has passed that there's a whole new generation that don't know those pieces of music, so they hear it the first time, and in that sense, it's just a really cool thing if those songs, you know, get a new life, basically, like that. But I think my track Sandstorm, and then a couple of others as well, people have done bootlegs and covers, and then if they ask me, I'm like, it's not that I'm against it, but I would highly recommend you working on something original rather than recreating somebody else's work, because the original work in a way is way more valuable because it shows your talent. And I'm not saying if I took any track and recreated it that it would be a hit, but it is definitely easier way to take somebody else's old work and recreate that. And one of the reasons why some people do that is that they'll first gain name with that, and then they'll release their own stuff, which kind of, I don't know, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It might be a good career starter, for instance. But in general, anyway, the sound of the early 2000s and late 90s, I'm in love with it still, so bring it on.
Yeah, I think it's something immortal, so it will be something circular, in loop.
Yeah, yes.
And what about your experience with the evolution of the industry towards streaming on various DSPs? Do you think it will be a long-term positive things for music?
Wow. Well, the thing about, for me, I don't want to think that I'm too old or anything, but the industry has changed, and I've had to adjust my thinking about promotions and about releasing music and the life cycle of music. Earlier on, you would promote even months ahead of time before the release, and then the track, if it had any kind of hit potential, it would have had like months and months of of art. But these days, promotions are way shorter. The impact hopefully is bigger, and then the life cycle of piece of music is also shorter. And I don't know which came first, like the way to promote that way, or the streaming habits or people's listening habits. Because a lot of times today, people have shorter attention spans, or at least it feels so. And then because today you don't need to go and buy a record and, you know, you have 20 euros or whatever and go and buy your album, or a little less for a single. And now you have a physical thing and you cherish it and you look at it and whatnot. And when you put your money into it, you actually kind of have to listen to it because you bought it. But now that you get music so easy and so cheap, effectively free, maybe even if you're using certain services that you don't use the premium ones. And I think that's shaped our habits of consuming music, and maybe the listener doesn't necessarily put as much value on the piece of music. So that shapes how artists make music as well, and how record companies release it. So I don't know, I think it's the best time ever to be a music consumer, because you can get everything. You know, you just punch in a search word and you find something, and once you've listened to something, then there's suggestions. If you like this, you probably like this and this and this. So the discoverability of music is amazing as well, and so that's great. And then as an artist, you can make music with a cell phone, for instance. You know, you just have a smartphone and you can, you know, make some beats if you want to. And so the threshold of starting to make music is so much lower than it was, say, 20 years ago. And in that way, everyone has a chance to do it as well. So I think that's good. But then industry-wise, like business-wise, I think the streaming services are obviously here to stay, and the big record labels love them. But then they also have still a lot of power over everything, because they have advertising budgets and whatnot. And so while a smaller label now can get straight to distribution and, you know, the Spotifys and whatnot, it doesn't necessarily mean that they still have a huge piece of the pie, because it requires quite a lot of effort and also financials to get big promotions done.
Yes, I really agree with your words. It's something good but difficult, because it's very, very big. It's such a big thing. And now the last question, what are your plans for this year, your future plans?
Well, so we released the first single, Outlaws, and then there will be one or two other singles, I think, at least this year. I'm actually just 10 minutes ago, or 15 minutes ago, before we started talking, I was working on a mix of a track that probably is the next single. And I have kind of like an album worth of music, or actually even a little more. And we're sort of in a planning phase of when would we release more than the first 2 or 3 singles, and if we're going to release the whole album sort of at the time. And then, like I said, at the same time, we're going to be looking from the label point of view, we're going to be looking for other pieces of music as well, other producers and artists that we might want to release. So it's kind of, I've been in the industry for a long time, but having this kind of label thing, how it's set up now and what we're planning on doing, that's a new and exciting thing for me. And it takes a little bit of time and capacity out of, or alongside my own music making. So this year is going to be probably a pretty cool learning experience for me as well. And then on top of that, the pandemic is kind of behind us now and things have normalized. So I'm also touring. And so I know I'm going to Poland, I'm going to Sweden, I think there was France, UK, US at least, possibly Australia this year as well. So sort of same old, but with a new angle.
A huge year then.
Yeah.
Darude, I really want to thank you for your time and your words, because you are an icon, and it's really a pleasure for me to have interviewed you today. And I really wish you the best for all your projects, and I hope to see you soon, maybe in Italy with a tour.
Yes, I hope to play in Italy soon as well. And thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.